Welcome to Marketing After Hours with JumpFly, where marketing meets creativity. All day, we're heads down in PPC, social media, Amazon, SEO, and more. After hours, we talk shop. Because when the day ends, the best conversations begin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Marketing After Hours with JumpFly, the podcast where marketing meets creativity after the workday ends. At JumpFly, we specialize in paid search, paid social, SEO, marketplaces, and more, helping businesses grow in an ever-evolving digital world. I'm your host today, Alex Pat, and on this episode, we're putting our marketing skills to the test with several unique business challenges in an exercise we call Pitch Perfect. Our team has already brainstormed some creative strategies, and now it's time to pitch, refine, and debate the best approaches. So as we get into this, I would like to welcome my two guests. We have Chanthana from Paid Social here at JumpFly, and we have John from Paid Search here at JumpFly. Welcome to the show, guys.
How's it going?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It is going great. I'm really excited to have you guys here, and I think we need to do a little toast before we go forward to the after hours.
To After Hours JumpFly.
Ring or like just like no? Oh, that's good.
That is really good. That is really good. Okay, so like I said before, the game we're playing is called Pitch Perfect. We're not singing. Okay?
Oh,
Good.
We're not doing that. So sorry to our viewers if you expected singing. That's not happening. No.
okay.
No. I'm putting a stop to that. Sorry. We'll save that for another episode. But as we mentioned before, you guys have already put together some strategies. We're going to read you guys some businesses, and just to explain to our viewers how this is going to work, we're going to name the name of the business, so the title, and we're going to read a tagline, the industry it's in, the target audience, the geographic targeting we're looking to do, the budget, platform breakdowns, marketing goals, KPIs, B2B versus B2C or hybrid, and whether it's lead gen versus e-commerce. You guys ready to do this?
Let's dive in.
All right. So let's get into our first business. This is called the Mediocre No More Academy. This is an online coaching and personal development company, B2C lead gen. Their tagline is, "Be less mediocre, start today." Feel like they're talking to me. The industry is online courses and self-improvement. The target audience is young professionals and aspiring entrepreneurs. Geographic scope is the United States. Total budget is $40K a month. The platform breakdown, we're going to have you guys decide whether we're going to spend X amount on Google, X amount on Meta. We'll kind of decide where we're going to disperse that. Their marketing goals are generating leads for a free webinar funnel and convert leads into paid course enrollments. And lastly, their KPIs are cost per lead, CPL, and conversion rate to paid course. All right, so how we can help this business out?
So, I mean, off the bat, what I'm thinking is it's a B2C lead gen, but we're also going after entrepreneurs, which is really going after individuals. So it's a little B2C, little B2B in a sense, because, they might be already starting a business. So in terms of Google search or Google in general, Google ads, I'd probably go with just a general search campaign, going after online coaching, all those programs that they might be offering. There's a lot of campaign types for Google, but in all reality, search is going to be the most direct for this kind of client. You might have a different opinion because Facebook Meta might be a little bit of a different audience going after, but
already I'm seeing that this is a really good business to show videos.
That's what I was thinking.
And then, especially since, if it's going to be speaking to young professionals, they're going to be consuming a lot of short form content. Yeah. So I'm even thinking if they want to go beyond Meta and go to TikTok and show some videos there. So I think that at the start, let's heavy up on Meta, because then, once they learn about mediocre no more, maybe they'll go to search and then you can capture them through some of your branded. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of competition in the auction. So standing out, especially with video. But also, I would not dismiss having even some static images, and that's going to just be very direct and like talk about like, what are these online courses all about? Because people are going to want to consume like different content. I'm also interested in like seeing like how are they, like shepherding these leads like through the funnel. Like and I'm sure like John, you've dealt with advertisers before, like, are they using HubSpot?
Yeah.
So are we going to, continue to like lead them into that, final journey of, becoming a member and like just like leading to having like a paid subscription, things of that sort. So I think like right now my head is all over the place, but the video is going to be something that is going to be a really strong start. And I'm not even like talking about like having like, like something that's overproduced, like an iPhone video, like even just, very much organic and like underproduced, and it can be something that is in, the kitchen, and like something where people are going to be relatable.
Like a short.
Yeah.
Totally short. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some really good YouTube shorts.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. YouTube Shorts is new bread and butter. I think Google's going after. They're trying to compete with like TikTok in a sense, and they're heavily pushing it. So I was thinking more so, maybe in a sense case studies from other entrepreneurs that might have gone
That's
through
cool.
the business.
Yeah, like a testimonial.
Exactly.
So what's the how long can a short be? Is it like 15 seconds?
It can go up to a minute pretty much.
Up to a minute?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's supposed to be under 30 seconds really.
Yeah.
15 to 30 seconds is the sweet spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then what happens when, I know like on Meta, if it's longer than, 15 seconds, and there's going to be that thing that's like, keep watching.
Yeah.
So sometimes like, we want to like stay within that 15 seconds, but it's okay to go beyond that 15 seconds because some people will actually want to keep watching.
If it captures their attention, especially, yeah.
Right, exactly. If it's good enough, if you're like catching like their attention like immediately, they're going to say, okay, give me more.
Mm-hmm.
Does Shorts have something like that?
Shorts might not, but YouTube does have different kind of campaign types or ad types for different length videos.
Yeah.
You can even have a 6-second video, which is called a bumper ad, and it's not skippable. You have to watch the 6 seconds, but there are, I've ran ads that they are 30-minute videos.
Yeah.
And they work. But it's very specific client, not really, online coaching, but that's kind of where online coaching, especially because we're going after like a younger demographic.
Right.
We got to keep their attentions. And it's usually short videos are going to work out a lot better in that kind of circumstance.
And you want to get to the point pretty quickly.
Exactly.
You want, if you see something,
Especially
you
with
want
shorts.
to, exactly, get to them right away. Cool. I guess another question I have for this type of business is, when you're generating leads for a free webinar funnel and you obviously want to convert those into paid course enrollments, would you guys say there's kind of a ratio that you would be looking for? Like, oh, you get this many free webinars, and how many do you think would you want to turn into a paid course? Is there a number that you would have in mind, or do you think it just kind of depends on the business goals?
I would say it depends on the business goals. It also depends on the business's conversion rate from the, getting somebody to sign up for a free webinar. You can get 100 people to sign up for that, and there's a possibility that 0 of them turn into actual clients.
Yeah.
So I need to hear what they've been doing, whether it be organic or what other ads that they might have been running, how their conversion rates are, and I can get a little bit of a better estimate on it. But Chanthana, do you have any input on that?
I don't think that there is going to be that formula as far as like, it is going to, it depends. It depends on what it is that they're selling. It's going to depend on what their history looks like. It's going to depend on, I guess like also like the retention rate. I'm sure like they're not only looking for people to be new people joining, but are people also like staying, and like are they going to like turn out like some maybe like some even like new content for them. I know John and I were like talking earlier about influencer content, and I said it's called on Meta, it's called partnership ads now. So there is that partnership between the content creator and then the brand. And what's really cool about Meta is that you can also see kind of like labels, and you can choose like the primary versus like secondary. Do we want to like, have like mediocre no more as that primary, and then like their content creator as the secondary? and you can like even like see which like pages that there are. It's such a cool collaboration, and you can like even like turn like some of those content creators that were ones who were looking to get some personal development, and then have them be the voices of like the influencers and whatnot. Those are things that I would love for this brand to just like use, that those people and whatnot that are going to be, their biggest cheerleaders. And like that can really extend, the types of like ads that they're using. So they're not constantly like producing like new ads. Like go to like your networks and like go see like what else is out there, and like constantly like churn out like some like new content that isn't going to be stale, and attracting like new consumers, especially like with the younger professionals. They're going to want to see new content, even if it's going to be somewhat what we might think is mediocre. It's going to be new, it's going to be fresh.
Yeah, I would also, going off of that, influencers are also in their way entrepreneurs as well.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
You might be able to get a case study where it's an influencer that can do an ad for you. You might be able to mix in those kind of things. But to all those points, I would probably, going back to like overall budget, $40K per month, I'd probably swing a lot more of the budget towards either Meta or TikTok, anything along those lines in comparison to Google. And Google, I'd probably focus at least 50% of the budget on YouTube, YouTube Shorts. And the other 50% would pretty much be trying to capture the traffic that we might be generating from Meta, TikTok, or our YouTube Shorts. That's kind of my thought process on this one. But
and I would even say variables. Like I wouldn't discount others. I mean, I get that there's a target audience. There's like a very like specific. There's probably like an existing pool of these members, and this is what they are bucketed into. But let's not discount even, let's say, empty nesters, someone like that. And like they might be like looking into like, what can I do to, increase my confidence or meet more people, or I want to like, work on myself. So even just like having like a broader reach, you can even like, tailor that content and be like, hey, are you, looking to level up your personal development? I don't know, something like that. And just kind of like speak and have like somewhat, generational copy there, so that it's not going to be only for the young people.
Sure.
Because you don't want to alienate, those who could be potential converters, and they're, now they're part of the academy. I like calling it the academy.
Well,
like that?
Yeah, might as well, right? All right, so those are all some really good ideas. I think, a lot of visual YouTube video, that's all good stuff to put in there. It's such a big thing now. So cool. Why don't we move on to our next business? This is called Zen Barn. It is a yoga and wellness.
I'm sorry, what was that
goats.
again?
Yeah, one more time.
Zen Barn. No, I don't have a cold or a cough or a frog in my throat.
Getting a character.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a yoga and wellness with goats. This is local and nationwide hybrid. So the tagline is find inner peace and pet a goat. Cool. Industry, yoga and wellness. Target audience, millennials, Gen Z, and wellness seekers. The geographic scope, we have our local brick and mortar targeting. So New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey for in-person classes, and then nationwide United States for their online classes. Total budget is $35K a month. We're going to have you decide how you're going to break down Google versus Meta. Their marketing goals are to fill in-person goat yoga classes, drive nationwide virtual online class registrations, and create viral UGC content via social media. Their KPIs are signups per location and online membership growth.
Question. The nationwide for online classes, how do you get a goat?
I was going to ask.
Maybe they ship it to you. I don't know. Or it's a virtual goat.
Hop on Skype with.
Yes.
Here's your goat. It's just going to be you and the goat. And then you can put the laptop on your back with the goat on it. I don't know. That is a good question.
Like, there's one of these kind of companies right by my house.
No.
And, yeah. And
Oh my
I've tried to
God.
convince my fiance to go to it, but
It's popular now, isn't it? Like,
There's kitten, there's puppies.
dogs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's
but
popular.
The goat, I think the goat is the goat, right? Like
It's gotta be the best one.
Right? It has to be the best one. I mean, I think that this is perfect for people who are willing to, try new things. The first of the year, you think about like all of the, fitness videos and those who are like doing like resolutions and everything. I'm just like thinking about the timing of it. Right now we're in Q1. This would be amazing to like have this be in the Meta feed and also in TikTok. TikTok is like where a lot of people are discovering things as well as on Meta. But like TikTok, they'll be like, have you heard of goat yoga? Like, yes, I've heard of it. But did you know that they offer a free class? Or did you know that you can rent out a studio for a bachelorette party or whatever it is? So I think the videos are going to be amazing with this, and just, consider like providing a free class or maybe getting an extra goat. I don't know like what that could look like, but I mean, John, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to like take some of that budget, like a lot of that budget, just because like I think that it's going to be amazing, awareness that Meta can provide. And then at the local level, there's probably like just like some, terminology that's going to be local. There's probably a lot of like, videos that they can like shoot in the studio or in, iconic places in New York and Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And I mean, millennials and Gen Z wellness seekers, I mean, those are like, those are coveted target audiences that I think that, they are going to really embrace this. I'm pretty excited about this brand, about the Zen Barn. I don't think I can't do it quite as well as you can.
you just need to practice.
Yeah,
You just need to practice. I've been practicing all night.
Yeah. John, what do you think?
I'd probably want some more of that budget too.
Of course you would. Of
budget
course you
dispute.
would.
Mostly just because going after local, people who want to come into the actual studios, and we're going after, 3 very heavily populated areas with
Yes.
New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. There's going to be competition. We are not the only,
Oh my gosh, that's true.
goat yoga place.
Yeah.
in
A lot of
those
search
areas.
volume, yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of search volume to bring people in. We're going to need some significant budget.
Yeah.
I shift towards Performance Max campaign on this because it does have the brick and mortar aspect to it, where you can attach your Google My Business. It'll show on Google Maps. We can also include all of the image assets, video assets,
Yeah.
everything along those lines.
Yeah.
Kind of lead me towards Performance Max. But again, going after those highly populated areas, Performance Max needs kind of significant budget to perform well.
Yeah.
So I'd need at least 15K of the 35 to make that work.
That makes
5K
me
each
That
state,
makes me
really.
think of like the store location awareness ads on Meta. Those are awesome because like you can get directions. It'll send you to the map. You can also call. I mean, like I know like some people are probably not into calling, but like maybe like there might be just something that you want to like ask a question about and be like, hey, studio, like do you have a goat for me there or something? So like that would be like really cool just to like have it for those specific locations. And it's really easy to set up. You just got to make sure that you have like store pages appended to those specific locations. I've helped advertisers before. Like I've been on the call with them on a Google Meet and we like set it up really easily. And then there's like others who I will just like send a link to them and they set it up within minutes. It's like so easy. We have one set up in for a couple of advertisers where they just have like, between like 1 and 4 locations. It's going to be like a heavier lift when you're looking at multiple locations, but really it is something that can be very localized. And Yeah, so I think that we're gonna have to Rochambeau for that budget somehow. Yeah.
All right, so maybe this is a Thunderdome type scenario. You got to get that budget. I mean, you both make convincing arguments.
I was like, I'll give Chanthana the bulk of the budget for the first month, but if it goes south,
there you
it's
go.
going to Google.
I mean, yes, I will share the pool of money with you after we get our bite into that pool for a bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good point because, as marketers, we discover that we might spend money on one thing, but we might need to make adjustments quickly. I mean, it happens all the time. So I think that's a good way to approach it, honestly. I mean, being open to shifting funds where you can, I think that's a good way to approach it. So,
I mean, there is never a good, plan A is probably not the plan that is going to work forever.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're going to have to adjust things. You're going to have to turn stuff off, try new stuff out. So it might be switching platforms, adjusting the budget that goes towards each platform.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's going to definitely be a case for every
Yeah. I mean, you can't set it and forget it because once you do, I mean, that's where you just see things start to tank or I mean, something like this. You do need to have a heavy hand in making sure that you are watching those, KPIs, watching those metrics, and then we can pivot from there. Yeah. I don't love using the word pivot, but there I went.
Why don't you like pivot?
I don't know. I just feel like it's overused.
No, that's fair. I mean, there are plenty of words overused, but that's fair. Okay, so why don't we pivot and move on?
Oh,
you're going to make me saying that the rest of this podcast now. Sorry, Chanthana.
Give it to you right there.
You handed it to me on a silver platter.
Totally.
But business number 3, it's Nailed It Hardware. Online hardware store, B2C e-commerce. Their tagline is screws, bolts, and all the stuff you never knew you needed. Their industry is hardware and DIY. Target audience is DIYers, contractors, and homeowners. Geographic scope is US, nationwide e-commerce. Total budget, got a lot here, $100K a month. Platform breakdown, you guys will get to do that again, debate on which funding goes where. Their marketing goals, capture high-intent search traffic for niche hardware parts. Many of them search by model. Retarget past customers to increase LTV and promote monthly short-term sales. They do have a promotional calendar. KPIs are return on ad spend, ROAS, average order value, AOV, and repeat purchase rate. What do you guys got?
Where was this during the pandemic?
I know, right? 5 years ago, this would have hit off. We would have had $300K in budget.
Oh, big time. Yeah, absolutely.
I know. I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, going into a store, whether it's a Home Depot or whatever big box retailer that there is, it's so intimidating that this makes it seem like it would be easy for the DIYer to go and browse and whatnot. I mean, I think with Meta, I'm okay with taking a little less budget just because it seems like that space is going to be fairly crowded. And it's going to be more of do we want to do brand awareness? Are we really going to, move the needle especially when it comes to the AOV? I'm thinking about nails and screws are very low AOV, but I guess if we're thinking about power tools and whatnot, it's going to be much higher. But I'm okay with just having a smaller budget on Meta, maybe 25, 40, something like that. I mean, that's still not small. That is very decent. You can do some really cool campaigns, Advantage Plus shopping is immediately. That's something that can be done. That's going to be a combination of existing and new customers. And you can even load your customer list in there, load your audiences that are going to be your existing audiences or your engaged audiences, your Facebook and Instagram engagers. So it's going to you can put a big budget on there, put a lot of ads in there, and just have a really nice ecosystem of all these different ads. And because it is just served to the US, you don't have to think about those local store location targeting, which is I think going to be a really nice lighter lift. I mean, as far as retargeting past customers to increase lifetime value, oh my gosh, that's like something that Meta can like do really well, because especially if you're using customer lists, like we can like do like those retargeting campaigns like separately from this, and then like show them things like, hey, there's a weekly special, like, there's going to be like a buy more, get more, or whatever it is, that promotional calendar is going to increase, so that you keep like getting those like customers back and just like increasing that lovely ROAS that you want to like keep. But John, I'm gonna like play nicely and like say
Can I give you
that.
this one?
Yeah.
Do you accept it?
Yes. Yeah, this is one where I would be very excited to have, just because, I'm assuming, their tagline being screws, bolts, and all this stuff you never knew you needed.
Yeah.
They got to have thousands, maybe tens of thousands of SKUs.
Oh, yeah.
Which definitely leads me towards Performance Max, with the shopping feed, which really ties into having Google Merchant Center all situated, all the different data points, data fields that you can really have for a shopping campaign. When it comes to like hardware, like Chanthana said, screws, bolts, those might be extremely cheap, so it might not be worth advertising some of the products just because of the return might not be worth it. But when it comes to like power tools, everything along those lines, my only concern would be the competitive volume that would also be going after those. So a strategy that I've kind of put in place with a lot of these companies where there's a lot of competition, they are pretty unique products, but there's definitely other advertisers for them. It would be layering pretty much a Performance Max campaign, utilizing the shopping feed, and then also adding on a search campaign that utilizes pretty much like the MPN numbers, the GTIN numbers that are for the products that are identifiers. Because people do search those. People will just search a string of numbers because they know which product it goes to.
Right.
Especially hardware. Like that is, I would tie that into like automotive. Those people will search for the exact product they're looking for. And with that combined strategy of search and PMAX, you're pretty much going to be guaranteeing that you're showing in shopping as well as in search, because it's a strategy that I don't think a lot of people do implement. It's like a product specific search campaign.
Yeah, that is good.
And it could be, it's going to be a chunky build, but it does produce solid results. It's something that I'd probably put, if you're taking say 40K of this, I'd probably put around 20K on strictly that. Now, it might not spend 20K because those searches might be a little bit more rare.
Sure.
But Performance Max will kind of suffice for that.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I've worked with clients that are in a similar industry. One client I have, they're specific to parts. So like parts for HVAC and freezer units and fridge units. And like fans for like ventilation. And we run the Performance Max utilizing the shopping. All these people search for the part numbers. So if they need to replace a part on their heating unit, they just take the part number, they search for it, and they buy it from the shopping. So
a lot of people actually use the Google Lens now. And Google Lens will use those attributes, like they'll search the barcode, and the barcode will pull up their MPN number or their
there you go.
Anything along those lines,
cool.
and that's where it's going to default to search to.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be the first result.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's a life hack.
Yeah, it's definitely, and it's also it's such an alternative strategy that a lot of advertisers are not going to think of.
Nice.
Most people are going to be like, okay, let's run search campaigns and just have like heavy duty screws, like 4-inch screws.
Pretty wide net.
Yeah, it's a very wide net, and you're going to get maybe 50 clicks with 0 conversions off of that. So because people are going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, let's just go to Home Depot. But no free ads. But
yeah. All right, well, that all makes sense. And obviously there was no fighting on this one over budget, so that's great. There's no conflict. Will that continue? I don't think it will, because this one is a little bit different. So our next business is Rack to the Future. This is a modern B2B retail fixtures and displays. Our tagline is, because your products deserve a display that doesn't belong in the past. The industry is custom retail displays and fixtures. Our target audience is retail store owners and franchise chains. We're going to be targeting US and Canada. Our total budget is going to be $55K a month. However, we have a platform breakdown here: $30K on Google, $15K on LinkedIn, and $10K on Meta. And their marketing goals, they're going to generate leads for custom retail display solutions and showcase portfolio of past store layouts. And their KPIs are CPL and lead conversion rate. So no fighting on this one. We have this divvied out. So how are you going to handle this one?
I was going to ask Chanthana if she can, my initial thought off the bat is I'd want to put even maybe more into LinkedIn from Google. Like I would say LinkedIn might be the better choice for this in terms, if I was determining the budget, instead of 30K Google, 15 LinkedIn, 10K Meta, I'd probably do like 20K Google, 25 LinkedIn, 10 Meta, or maybe shift that around just because of the focusing on store owners.
Yeah.
People might be looking at mannequins and stuff along those lines. Most people who are going to be looking that stuff up on Google might be store owners already, but there's no way to define that with Google. We just look at the search terms and that's all we really get. There are audiences that people fall into, but none of them really resolve around professions. Like LinkedIn does. Like LinkedIn, you can target professions, you can target industry. So I might want to shift more budget into there, or maybe suggest to a client that it might be a better idea to go more towards Chanthana's end on this one.
So if I may ask really quickly, has there ever been a case with any of you guys where a client says, we want to spend this here, and you step in and say, hey, maybe if we did it this way, kind of like what you suggested, that would be 100%, better.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, definitely. Because we're going to want, to do whatever it is that we think is going to be the best for the client. And if, we're saying that, this could perform better on this platform. So, we recommend, we will say we recommend because ultimately, the final decision is with the client.
It's their business. Yeah,
exactly. And, oftentimes they'll say either, no, this is cut and dry. This is how it is. And other times they'll say, this is great. This is exactly why we chose JumpFly, because you guys are like talking to each other. You're actually thinking strategically. I think it happens quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And like with LinkedIn, I mean, to John's point, because we're doing like 2 different countries, there's going to be like separate campaigns. There's going to be like separate budgets, and on LinkedIn, you want to be really specific with your audiences as well. So like doing the job titles, you can even target company growth. Are you looking for companies that have a growth of like 3% or, whatever it is, like whatever you want to choose. And then there's this really cool one that's a prospecting audience called predictive. I think it replaced lookalikes.
Yeah.
Right?
I looked that up like a week ago.
Yeah.
Because a client asked me about LinkedIn ads.
Yeah.
And we were going over that because they were like, what about lookalike audiences? I'm like, I think they dropped those about a year ago.
Totally.
But,
yeah.
And then we saw that they kind of
rebranded.
It.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah. And what I like about LinkedIn also is that they're going to want to have that freshness with your audiences. They're like, make sure that you're touching these audiences every, I think it's like 90 days or something like that. I forgot exactly what it is. So there's also that element of like staying on top of, of like making sure that your target audiences are set to what you want. And just, inherently with LinkedIn, people are going to be updating their job titles or like, their companies, things of that sort. So that you have very up-to-date information. Like, just also like the types of campaigns that we can like produce. It's going to be, it's going to be a video. It might be a static image. It might be related to an existing audience or a remarketing audience, especially if those are the ones who have, purchased with them before. Maybe they are looking for more furniture. I would imagine that, furniture and fixtures and things of that sort, oftentimes it's kind of like a one and done.
That's what I was saying.
But there might be, other things that they want also. So I would say like, don't forget about them. Like don't discount them as being a one and done.
They might buy one thing and then maybe they're interested in looking for another thing from there.
Yeah, exactly. And like, we I think also like, just making sure that there are, there's like content out there like that could inspire, because it's going to like lead to, saying like, yeah, maybe we do need a refresh, or like, hey, they have like some like really cool technology that we hadn't, considered. So let's go to, oh my gosh, was it Rack to the Future?
Rack to the Future. Very close to a certain film franchise that has time traveling DeLoreans.
Yes.
Not mannequins.
And then,
No.
Well, and then on Meta, we can't target job titles. So that one is going to be a little bit trickier when we're talking to clients about it. But there's going to be interest targeting. There's going to be those customer lists that we can also use for remarketing. So Meta could be a really powerful platform for remarketing, or just let's try something that's going to be broad, because people are scrolling like in the elevator and whatnot, and they're taking a look and they're like, oh, this is interesting. I've never heard of Rack to the Future, but it does remind me of a certain movie. And that could be something that's very catchy. And then, they go to their desktop and then they're on LinkedIn, and perhaps they're getting a different, ad. So then we want to reinforce them and also provide them discovery as well.
Yeah, I definitely see it being a top of mind type of advertising. Also going back to, targeting off of job titles, industries. If I was able to suggest reallocating the budget instead of $30K on Google, I'd probably want to shift some budget towards Microsoft ads, which is also something that we do. And they also utilize LinkedIn's job attribution to individual users. It's not as finite as LinkedIn's targeting, but it utilizes some of those aspects. So we might be able to go after, retail store owners or small business owners, something along those lines, to get a little bit more specific. But when it comes to like Google search, if somebody is searching for display mannequin for a retail store, I'm going to assume that they have a retail store. So it's not, it's not one of those searches where it's somebody looking for like a DIY project. They might be looking for ideas for interior design, something along those lines. I would say if we have a very locked in search campaign, it's going to be pretty particular to what the individual is looking for, what they already are doing. But that's really going to be locking down the search terms, adding probably a billion negatives to exclude a lot of stuff.
Very high intent.
Very high intent, which would negate, I would say, Performance Max. Displayed may work, but maybe even, I don't even think I would go after video. It'd probably it would strictly be search campaigns on Google and Microsoft. But
Fair enough.
Did you guys know that LinkedIn has games?
yes, I saw that.
I just started playing last.
YouTube does too.
No way.
Yeah.
I just started playing last month,
why.
but it debuted like May 1st of last year. I didn't realize I missed out on like 10 months of like.
What is it? Catch the Recruiter? What are
No,
these games?
it is amazing. There's 4 games.
Apply to job.
But like, it has like nothing to do with like job hunting, and it's like it's awesome. It's a really great way to like get people onto the app.
Well, you do bring up an interesting point because, when you think of LinkedIn, you think of job hunting, but there are many other aspects of LinkedIn. Like we're talking about ads right now.
Yeah.
You're talking about connecting with people on an advertising. You think of, LinkedIn, you go in, you upload your resume, your experience, you look for a job. There's plenty of other things, and I'm sure we could do a whole other episode just explaining what LinkedIn does, because some people might just not know or bother to look.
Yeah, it's definitely not someone's first thought when they come to advertising. No one's thinking of LinkedIn off the bat.
No.
They're probably thinking Facebook or Google, and that's really it.
Totally.
So branching off to Microsoft and LinkedIn is probably, especially for somebody who's going like really B2B, is I start to think about Microsoft and LinkedIn a lot more because of the targeting.
Yeah. I mean, it's B2B, like absolutely. Like LinkedIn is going to be a really good platform for it.
I really wish Google could do it, but
Yeah. Well, things got to have something, right?
I'm sure they do too. So.
yeah, you're right.
Maybe someday. I don't know.
Yeah, cookies.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So why don't we move on to our last business? And this one is pretty interesting because a lot of people might not know what this is. This is called Fax You Later, the last fax machine company standing, B2B compliance solutions. The tagline is because some industries still won't let go. The industry is office equipment and compliance solutions. Our target audience is healthcare providers, law firms, government offices, and people still living in the 1980s. Geographic scope is the United States. Total budget is $45K a month. Platform breakdown, this is what we have. Maybe you guys will disagree. $25K on Google, $10K on LinkedIn, and $10K on Meta. Marketing goals include driving B2B sales of high-security fax machines, target compliance-heavy industries, HIPAA, legal docs. KPIs are CPA and retention rate. Fax machines. I mean, this is way back when. I've never used one before.
I was going to say you're testing us here.
Yeah.
Oh my
You're testing us here.
gosh.
I'm testing myself talking about fax machines. I mean, they
Yeah.
were still a thing when I was a kid, but I wasn't sending faxes when I was a kid.
You have to show some respect and call it facsimile because that's what it stands for.
I didn't even know that.
See,
Jeez.
I'm going to give all the budget to Chanthana.
Oh,
No,
You don't even want to touch this.
No, I mean, honestly, if I was to take over this business, I would have to do some research on my end to understand what kind of businesses might still use a fax machine.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's not a lot. My father is a lawyer. I know he still sometimes uses fax, which is wild. But there's definitely a limit in the industries and the people that are going to be searching for this. So
Sure.
that's probably the biggest, stonewall that we're going to have to deal with this kind of account. And I'm not sure, if Meta has anything along the lines of targeting people that are looking for fax machines. But
I mean, I'm thinking about like Blockbuster Video.
Yes.
So,
R.I.P.
right.
are they on that influencer network? You can get Blockbuster to advertise
Yeah.
fax machines.
Yeah, I mean, like this is like something where, I gotta like think about it a little bit more, but just I guess off the cuff, I'm good with our budget of 10K LinkedIn, 10K Meta, because if we're gonna be looking at these like very specific industries and these like verticals, we're probably also going to be fairly limited.
Mhm.
I don't want that wasted spend on any of those platforms where people might say like, oh my goodness, did you see like there's like, a fax company and then it is being passed around as, entertainment or some kind of like.
Nostalgia.
Right.
Because that's so big now. I mean, nostalgia is
Yeah.
everywhere,
Yes, yeah, nostalgia is. Yeah, you're right. It's everywhere, and it's something that we want to like lead to conversions. And this one, it's going to be really interesting as far as like what are their current what's their current CPA right now?
Yeah, I'm very curious about that.
Yeah.
Is there a plan to maintain it, to bring it down? What are they going to be okay with like a higher CPA because like the pool of people out there is going to be fairly small. But also, I mean, like maybe like even like looking, why is it only U.S.? There might be like underdeveloped countries that might be using fax.
That's a good thought. Yeah, and
Didn't think of that.
And I was kind of going towards, with Facebook, Meta, and like LinkedIn, those are audience-based targeting. You're creating an audience that you want to go after. I can see that being difficult with people looking for fax machines.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to Google, if people are searching for fax machines, they might be in the industry. So I would probably say Google is going to be one of the best methods towards this. And, there might not be a lot of searches, but if there's not a lot of searches, we can kind of maximize our impression share, make sure we show an ad every time someone is searching for a fax machine. And if we cap out, we're hitting our target of showing 100% of the searches.
Yeah.
That's maybe when we branch out to other countries, because that's a good point. There's
What
probably
about
other countries.
Marketplace? Have we even talked about Marketplace? Are people looking on like say Amazon?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, like this is like a pretty decent budget. Like let's see if like that's something that like if they have a Amazon storefront. There might be like people in, the government and law firms and whatnot who might be like saying like, hey, let's like see if Amazon has so that we can like utilize our Prime. So, we do have a marketplace team at JumpFly. And that could be something that we could like bring to them and say like, is this something that would yield, that could yield, I should say, some like, decent conversions.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we do at JumpFly is when we have niche markets like this is you kind of explore all angles.
Yes.
I mean, and when you think about it too, is you look at the target audiences we talked about, healthcare, law firms, government offices. As much as we're joking about the whole fax world being outdated, it does kind of make sense, right? Like for healthcare to, and governments to send things via fax, like it makes sense in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, like we said, it's niche now. And with a limited search volume on Google, really trying to get that impression share, I guess one thing to ask is, would you be in any way, I don't know about worried, but altering your strategy to make sure that you're getting the searchers that are really looking to buy one, because there could be people searching for nostalgic purposes, like what did a fax machine work like? How did it work? Yeah. I mean, like what did they used to do? For a lot of people young kids searching Google who've never seen a fax machine before.
Yeah, they don't even know the word.
Right.
Simile.
Again, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Google, it's hard to define, or it's hard to identify when the intent behind somebody's search.
Sure.
They might be looking for memes. They might be looking for a Google search image of just a fax machine so they can copy and paste it somewhere. So identifying if people are looking to buy one, there's ways to do that with search terms, if they include, shopping for or whatever. But a lot of times when it's something so niche to where it probably would just benefit us to show an ad to be the face of fax machine sales.
Okay.
So I would say maximizing impression share is beneficial, even if a lot of the clicks might not be, people looking to buy something. You might become since it is the last fax machine sales company, might as well try to dominate that, space.
So you would put like a target impression share type strategy in there and like go after just the highest possible you can get.
Possibly. Maybe with like exact search terms.
Okay.
For the higher intent people looking for online store for fax machines. Like if that's exact match, sure. I don't want to go after broad match because there's a million searches that will pull in from broad match. And I don't want to do impression share or target impression share with anything that could really go kind of crazy. So
sure.
I want to control it. But depending on how they convert, search impression share might not be the best thing to go after. It might be conversion, maximize conversions or target ROAS, anything along those lines. But it really depends on how they convert or how well they convert. And this might be a bad assumption, but I'm going to assume the website looks like it's from the 1990s.
I hope it does.
I know. I was going to say, with that small text in the blue background or whatever, or the gray background, I would totally dig
HTML
that.
in it.
Yeah, exactly. But it sounds like this one would be kind of some trial and error, maybe.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just because, it's fax machines.
Yeah, I can't. Chanthana, I don't think you've ever dealt with the fax machine company, but I haven't on my end.
I mean, no. But there's always a first time. Like, why not? It's just the last fax machine company standing. I mean, it's quite the way to go.
Yeah.
So. Find some influencers that could
yes. Yeah. I can imagine it. It probably sounds like a AOL dial-up or something.
That's pretty solid.
I can still hear the screeching.
Yes.
Oh, man. All right, guys. Well, those are our 5 businesses. I think we had a lot of great ideas here. We had a lot of great discussion.
We
had
fun.
a debate. Yeah, absolutely.
Fun.
So thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
No problem.
And just a reminder to all of you, be sure to like and subscribe to us. We're on YouTube. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and be sure to check out JumpFly.com to learn more about our agency and what our experts do. So until next time, I'm Alex. That's Chanthana. That's John. Keep it classy. We'll see you next time.
Yep.